my computer. All right, I am so glad to have everybody here tonight. We have a lot in store for the next 30-ish minutes, and I really want to pass it on. So, April, what's nice is to empower leaders is to really empower other leaders and to help them share things that they've learned, whether that is, hey, I learned how to do this reel, hey, I learned how to XYZ, or wow, I didn't know you could do this with stories. Whatever it looks like, that's what we're here for, is to share experiences with you as we're growing as leaders. And so April, which I'm super grateful for, she is in our elite coaching. She is going to share some things that are on her heart, and I cannot wait to hear from her, as she is definitely growing as a leader, and I love seeing her grow. And cannot wait. And then tomorrow, do not forget, tomorrow, Kyle is going to be taking on an extra little team call for us. He wants to share. I don't know what, but I have him as my coach right now, and he is going to be sharing just for us tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And so if you guys can take your lunch hour then, whatever that looks like. So 1 o'clock tomorrow, be on it, be square, and come to it. So all right, April, take it away. I'm super, super excited that you're here.
Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Team Tuesday, as I like to call it. So I've just been diving a little bit more into things because I don't know about you, but I know a lot of my friends lately have been posting about how they're all depressed. They're all dealing with anxiety. And I think a lot of times while we're looking at things, we forget how much mental health plays into the whole picture. And we're not here just to help fix the gut. We're held here to help fix the person. So that includes, physical, mental, and spiritual. And I know a lot of us work on the spiritual, but again, I think a lot of us overlook the mental because I know I overlooked it myself for years. I don't know how you are, but I also know that I am my own worst enemy. My head is my own worst enemy. So obviously we have to find ways to deal with that and to protect us from that. So, and I'm sure most of us have looked into the gut mental health side, but we're here for more than just that. It's also the physical side. So, I wanted just to kind of look at the mental and physical health. So I'm not sure if, what all you've dove into on it, but our mental and physical health is it's our thoughts, it's our moods, the mental state. We may feel that they're abstract or separate from the physical, but it's actually happening in our brain. So just take a moment for that to set in. Just the mental brain, all of that stuff. So what are ways that we can use to help change ourselves so we're focused better on clearing out our mental health? So one of it, obviously, and part of getting everything in line is the health side. So we want to make exercise a lifelong habit. So, in order for our gut system to work, we need to be moving so that way everything can help. So it is a lifelong there. And obviously for the triplex and things like that, we need to work on a healthy, balanced diet. Now, here's one thing that I think, coming from other backgrounds and things like that, as we're working on helping people, we need to not overwhelm them, but let them know it's okay to focus on one thing at a time. Sure, you may have a day that you don't pay attention to any of it. Don't feel bad about yourself on that. Live that day and then make a decision as you can as what you're going to change. So maybe if I had a really crappy day, I just went out, I enjoyed, I made memories, didn't care about the macros or whatever, then the next day, maybe the first thing I'm going to pay more attention to is my water. And then I'm going to focus on that for a couple of days. And then a couple of days later, I'm going to start adding in the protein back in. Because if you can help the people understand it's a small process, a lot of times they're going to feel better about it. And then the one that kind of blew my mind, I think the most, is to make time to do nothing. So stress is a major factor in the harmful interactions between mental and physical health. So when I'm saying take time to do nothing, it means find a place where you can sit down with zero distractions and just think about where you're at and what you're doing, but don't let your mind wander on, well, I still haven't gotten a post up or I still haven't followed, because I think that's where a lot of us go when we go to do this, which is why we put ourselves in such a crunch position, because we didn't take times to clear our mind out. So, I mean, relatable, because I think that's where a lot of us struggle. So I just found that as I'm diving into the podcast to help me and things like that, that is one of the key points that comes up over and over again is, are you just paying attention to the physical, or are you also tying in the mental to your spiritual health?
Ah, amen, amen. Go, Julia.
I was just going to say that is really powerful, April. Thank you for sharing that. I was thinking that is one of the things that I think, and you just hit it right spot on with the fact that we don't give ourselves enough grace. And there's a lot of times that we live in such a fast-paced world that we are literally trained to think that if we aren't going fast-paced and doing all the things, that we're failing. And we have to remember that God did not design us that way. Like, He designed us to have days where we don't have to think about anything or do anything. Like, now, granted, obviously, you got to take that and also understand that we are also responsible for being active or doing things or moving our business forward. So we can't do that every day. But I love that reminder. That is such a good, powerful reminder for all of us. Whereas if you have a day that's off, it's okay. Set a plan, move forward the next day. Super, super good. Proud of you, girl. Love that.
Yeah, amen. And I think that that was the one thing that even Jessica had me do. And I know I've told y'all about it and how hard it was to be quiet for an hour, like solitude, 1 hour. And I did like 27 minutes. And I was like, yeah, I'm so proud of myself. And she's like, that's not an hour. And she made me go do it again. And it was so impactful because when you don't have anything around you, you actually get to hear from the Holy Spirit way more. You get to hear and create new ideas because your mind isn't wandering. Things aren't, you're literally just focused on the stillness and what's around you. Like I could hear, this was when it was nice outside. So I sat outside and I was in my chair and I heard the birds and I just heard things that was still. And it was very impactful for me to realize like, wow, what a huge moment for me that then created a lot more activity that I knew exactly what I needed to do in that day because I sat myself outside for a little bit of time to make time for me. And I think that when you guys are doing, and hopefully this, if you're struggling with time blocking or anything of that nature, I highly recommend you guys every night or the night before, if you're not doing it weekly already, really tackle what your day looks like, because if not, your day is going to be taken away from you and you're not going to realize it. And you're like, wow, I really wanted to hope it and get this stuff done, but I didn't get to it. Those days happen. But if you really can set a time of like, okay, here's this that I need to get done tomorrow. And I know that I'm going to have unexpected things happen. So then when you time block and those struggles happen or whatever, then your mental state won't go crazy because you've already put that time slot in for crazy things to happen. So like I know on certain Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I have a work time. I do my workout and then I come and I work at a coffee shop for an hour or two and then I come home and homeschool. And then it's like fluff time and then family time and then back to work. And that fluff time is when things can go crazy, right? But I've scheduled it in so that when I didn't do that, I will tell you I had a lot more mental breaks than I anticipated. And so beautiful thing to remember for all of us that time slot some of these things, 1 hour of rest, getting your Bible in, whatever that looks like, time block those in. I like doing them the night before, if not the, 2 days before, because I feel like when I do them way ahead of time, at least for me, things happen and I'm like, Jason, you didn't tell me that. I didn't know that we were doing this tomorrow and da da da. So I can manage my stress level a little bit more when it's almost the night before. for me. Everybody else is different. So what else stood out to y'all, or what have any thoughts on any of this? I would love to hear.
If I
Oh,
can
Julia
comment real quick,
2.0.
yeah, I've been nicknamed Julia 2.0 for the resort, or not the resort, the retreat that you all held, which I totally again appreciate letting me hop onto your team thing.
Always.
When we did this activity at the retreat, it was like I first thought when you were sharing about it, there's no way my mind's gonna stop. Like I constantly is just circling with thoughts and things that need to get done and so forth. And so when you shared, being quiet for an hour, I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen, but okay, I'll try it anyways. But it was so, so powerful. And even though I don't always get an hour in, I do try at least a week to just sit in quiet, which is hard with a 8-year-old boy running around. But I do try to at least get in as much time as possible. And it's been a blessing because I feel God leading me in certain areas and pushing me into certain directions, which isn't exactly where I thought I would go, but it's his journey, not mine. I'm just the vessel. And so, yeah, it was really empowering. So if nobody's done it before, I do recommend it.
Yeah, I like it when everybody's gone. You know, when I have the house to or the apartment to myself. Because when I'm all by myself, I turn off the TV. There's no noise, no nothing, and that's my time to really spend time with God. And I'm a walker while I'm praying. I walk back and forth, but it just helps me, I guess. I don't know, concentrate better, get things out of my head, and just really have a deep discussion.
Yeah, hands down. Go ahead, Shara.
One thing that I've started doing is, we're all prone to, as soon as we wake up, what do? We check our phone. We check our phone. So, I have started, my phone is my alarm. So I usually shut it off with my watch. I wear my watch to bed, and I just shut it off with my watch. And then I don't pick it up. I don't check messages. I don't check Facebook. I don't do nothing for at least minimum 15 minutes. Usually it's a lot longer, but at minimum, I do not. If on the weekend, during the week, it's a lot easier for me to do that. On the weekends, if I do get up and grab my phone when I come in the living room, I set it down face down. That way I'm not trying to look at it and it's away from me, and just to have that quiet time. With my husband on the road, my TV is hardly ever on. When he's home, he's the TV watcher, so it stays a little quieter in here. But that's one of my tips is try not to look at your phone as soon as you wake up. Try to, wake up and, start praying or talking or use that quiet time to, start your day off fresh.
Yeah, agree. There was a podcast or reel I watched, and it was like Priscilla Shire, I believe, and she talks about this and how, you would think the moment that you wake up, the first thing you should be doing is gratitude, but yet we go straight to our phone and see what the world is doing, not saying, you know what, God, thank you for another day that I get to shine your light to who knows what that needs me on the phone, but I'm going to thank you first for waking me up for another day. And I've really been trying to do that to where when I wake up, I'm like, God, thank you. Thank you for another day. Whatever I can do, please give me that. Please provide that so that I can walk in what you're calling me to do today. So, because every day is a new day and it can be different than the other day before. So what can I do today differently, God, for you? That and what that looks like. And putting your phone away and or at least having it separate. I've seen people, and I'm the same. I need my phone for my alarm. And I'm like, man, if I just got another Alexa, really, I could have that in my as my alarm and put my phone in the kitchen. That way it is my alarm. Something different is my alarm, and I don't have that as my excuse. Because I tend to, as a helper, check my phone pretty quickly because my day can go pretty fast and being like, well, let me check really fast, make sure everything's okay. I don't need fires to, or whatever. And I definitely fall into that every now and then. Julia had said she has an old time alarm clock. I think that'd be a good one. We go back to, I feel like a lot of us are going back to, I mean, you got the sourdough people now, and people having their, farms and chickens and all this stuff. So why not bring it back the old stuff? Come on. I need an old time alarm clock. Who else? Anything stood out to you on any of this? This was super good so far.
I think she mentioned the physical part, like physical activity. To me, for someone who has not stepped foot in a gym in 7 years, that's the best thing I did for myself this year is doing that. Now, am I going too many days in a row? Probably right now, but I'm trying to find that balance right now. But I can go and just check out completely from life, and life is just crazy right now. So tonight I did not want to go, but my husband's like, you're going. And so he kicked me out the door and made me go. So I think it's important to set even and have that conversation with your family as well, to be like, this is my non-negotiable, this is what I'm doing. So just do it. And when you don't think you need it, those are the days I need it the most. And so that's just my tip and kind of takeaway.
Yes. On the gym, I will tell you, those are usually my best days. When I go in the morning, get it knocked out. It is early, but I get it knocked out, and I tell you, I get way more accomplished that day because I've already gave myself my priority first. I wake up thankfulness, and then I'm pouring back into my cup so that I can pour back into others. Now, the days like today where I don't go out to the gym, because for me, my body only likes 3 to 4 days a week working out. But this is what I'm trying to do better at, and maybe get like a weighted vest. So it's still, I'm in movement. I'm still doing something that my body enjoys. And so really start checking on yourself. If you guys aren't trying to make, exercise or something to that nature a priority, when you do, really track what it does for you differently when you do go versus when you don't. Because then when the excuses come into your head that like, well, I just can't today, I've got too much going on, or I just need more sleep or whatever, then you can be like, but I remember how I feel when I do go. And I know every time I do go, I'm so much grateful that I put myself and got my shoes on, my clothes on, and went anyway, or did it anyway. So, and yes, Julia, there is too much time, just FYI. 1.0. Okay. Oh. Who else?
I told Cassie the other day, 'cause she's like, you just need to go and sit at a coffee shop. And I'm like, I think I personally get more done when I literally am walking the track. I sat up there the other day and I responded to all of my messages. So also keep in mind that your body is different in the sense of how you work. A big part of reason why you feel so much better is obviously there's a lot of dopamine and serotonin being released whenever you exercise. And so you may actually truly think better afterwards. You feel more accomplished. Your hormones are more balanced. Like there's reason God designed our bodies to move. And when we do that and we're obedient to that, you feel better and you function better. And so some people may do better if they sit and they have focused time. Some people maybe do better, just like Denise, you were talking about when you're praying and talking to God, you're moving. That is 100% me. Like I do better and I know this sounds crazy, but I legit hear better if I'm moving. Like if I'm moving, I can hear better, I can think better. So to each his own, you'll find your pace, find your rhythm, but remember, like, pay attention. But if your brain is clogged and you're so overwhelmed and you're functioning and just feel like you're all over the place and you don't take that alone time or that quiet time, you may not be able to know what your body needs. You have to pay attention and you have to give yourself that out. So do that, definitely, for sure.
And we are so different in a lot of different ways to where, like, for me, I can't do multiple, like, I can do this and walk. If you have me do a spreadsheet or anything like that, my mind cannot do multiple things that really need true focus. And so that's where me and Julia are a lot different in some ways, because she can do all kinds of stuff and still work out and do all this stuff where sometimes I need a little bit more focus and non-movement time. And so whatever that looks like for you, you have to figure that out so that you can operate in the most optimal way that is possible for you and your body. So highly recommend looking into that. Okay. Julia is having a menopausal moment right now. All right. How can I help you this week? We have about 10-ish minutes. And then I want to go into what I'm calling this is Magic Week. And I'll tell you why after I hit on what you need right now. Where are you at? How's your week? Where's your head at? Tell me what you got.
It always seems like mine's negative. Just the past 2 days, it's just been really dragging for me and not motivated at all. That's
So
been
how do
my
you get out of
issue.
that?
Well, when I'm alone, how I get out of it is by praying, talking to God. That's how. And I know I may be using this, and you suggested, which I need to start doing. It's just if I have to, just go sit in my car, because I really need that alone time to talk to God or just to focus. And I haven't been doing that. I've allowed things to overwhelm me, what's going on, just everything that's going on and everything. So devil's really been attacking me, but I've been listening to worship music, and on my live today, I shared that video of that song Yeshua, and I'm the type of person that I have to have my time to listen to worship music and talk to God, and if I don't, I just feel crappy.
Yep. And so here's the thing. I want to get a collective answer to this one. When you guys are in a funk, how do you get out of it? Because we all have gotten out of a funk or you wouldn't be here today. So what do you do when you get out of a funk? How do you get yourself out? When you need to motivate yourself, what do you do?
Exactly like what she just said, praise. I mean, for me, that's how that works. And I think that a lot of people are probably feeling the way you're feeling right now. And I don't think, I feel like I know, but like, it may not be all of it, but the sun not shining for so many days in a row definitely affects people. Like we had one warm day, like what, I don't know, last week or 2 weeks ago. And it was like, we can conquer the world, right? And then it's been no sunshine for a lot of days. So, but if we're feeling that way, our friends and our family are feeling that way. So we need to make sure we're covering them in prayer. But yeah, just for me, it is praise. Doesn't matter if kids are being crazy or trying to literally kill themselves or whatever, we can praise through it, right?
You also got to remember that Satan attacks the strongest people because he knows that God has something in plan for you. So something bigger is coming. And if you're getting attacked strongly right now, it's because he doesn't want you to get to the end. So just keep pushing through, listening to your worship music. Turn it up louder than your thoughts.
Love you, Shara Deckard. So much.
I agree with Shara. Like she hit the nail on the head. I was on a coaching call today and was just reminding myself in the process. The person didn't know this, but was reminding her and myself that it's actually confirmation that we're doing something right, because he wouldn't be attacking so hard if he didn't care about what we were doing. Like if we were just being complacent and not making a difference. So it's, to me, like it's taken me a while to get there. And it doesn't mean that I'm always like, oh, I'm so glad that the enemy is attacking today. This is wonderful. I'm not delusional, but I stop and take a step back and I'm like, wait a minute, that's right. What's up, Satan? You're attacking because I'm on the right track here. Thank you so much.
That was so good. And the fact I was like, could you think of like the worst attack you've had? Like, let's say he's got you down and you're like, man, something's big coming then. I'm such in a funk right now. Like, man, Satan knows that something magical is about to happen. And you don't think that way when you're in that moment for sure. But to remind yourself that every season has its reason and you get out of that season. That's the difference. You know, winter is not going to last long. This funk stuff that's outside is not going to last long. It's going to pass. And so it's finding what can we be thankful for in that passing that's going to get us to the next season. And just like Hannah said, gratitude. Wow, I'm so grateful I get to homeschool my girls. I'm grateful I have a walking pad I can walk on a team call right now. I'm grateful that, you know, they're not, I mean, whatever that looks like. Thank you, God, for having a smooth-ish day. You know, gratitude pours into gratitude and it increases your serotonin more than you think when you say it out loud. That's the one thing I want to encourage all of you guys to do is saying things out loud, because there was a study done. When you actually verbalize things, your brain believes it a lot more than when it just stays here. And so making sure when you're actually verbalizing things, say it out loud. So then your brain can accept the conversation that you're actually creating right here and be like, oh, okay, I am having a great day, versus it then creating excuses along the way of being like, well, I might think that, but do I really believe that? So definitely do that. Do the same with your visions. Yes. Same with the visions and goals. And we all know, I mean, we've all been in this for longer than a week. You know, when you have a goal and you set a goal and you aren't verbalizing, no, I am going to be hitting gold this month. No, I am going to be hitting Ruby this month. Or no, I am going to be hitting senior Ruby this month. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to create a schedule. I'm going to create time blocks, or I'm going to tell Satan he can have it anytime that he believes this isn't the month or this isn't the time. You know, it's a short month, or I just don't have anybody, or whatever. If you say that out loud, your brain believes it, and so does Satan, and he's got you under his wing. And he's like, thank you, Jesus. I got her one more month. She's going to push those goals out to another month so she can't help more people this month. That's why. So every time you actually verbalize anything, just remember it's confirmation to whoever you're saying it to. So what are you confirming? Are you actually saying things out loud that you're going to confirm in a positive way versus a negative way?
I was going to trail a little bit on that, because your actions either confirm or deny your calling. So what actions are you taking to confirm your calling, whether it be here, whether it be at church, whether it be whatever it is? Your actions or inactions either confirm or deny your calling. So keep that in mind, because I feel like that's a super big thing that I had to come to realize, that even when I was pushing things off and avoiding things because they made me feel uncomfortable, that was an inaction. And to me, that was triggering that was me agreeing with the doubt that was in my brain. It's not me taking action and going further to say, no, I'm going to step into my calling. I'm going to step into this calling that I have. I'm going to step into this position of leadership, of having something that people need. And so, little help there.
I want to add too as well. And this, okay, I'm going to be honest. It may sound like I'm contradicting what Cassie said, but go with me on this for a second, because it's not actually. But you know, she said that, you know, whenever you speak out loud, what you're confirming things. But I do think there's a lot to be said to you pushing down and denying the thoughts that you're having, because I know that's something that I do a lot. As I'm like, oh, that's just not a good thought. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it. When I'm never actually dealing with the thought and changing it. So something that I was taught when I was younger, which has helped me a lot through the years, is whether I'm saying it out loud or I'm writing it down, doesn't always mean that I believe it or that I want it to be confirmed. But if I don't deal with it, then I'm just repressing it, and it's going to explode in other ways all together by themselves. So make sure that, I think this is a great subject because you have to be aware. And if you're aware, then you can start processing and working through things. And so being aware, am I just pushing that thought down, or do I need to deal with this and figure out, is this true? Is it something that I'm supposed to be thinking about? And I know Megan's nodding her head. That's something they talk about in soundtracks too. He walks through the thought process of how to know, is this helpful? Is this true? Is it being kind to myself? And if it's not those things, then we can do away and change the soundtrack. And so having that shift, sometimes you have to acknowledge that thought though. But that doesn't mean you stay there. That's for Julia. She's saying you don't stay in that moment. You have to move past it.
Yes, yes. And again, the more that you suppress things, I mean, how often when you suppress things too long, you end up blowing up. So agree, right? Oh yeah, same. All of us. Anybody that has a husband here, come on. We all get it, right? Or kids. You finally blow up and you're like, all right, I've had it. You've had it, right? Because you feel like, well, I'm going to be a good person and I'm just going to let it go and I'm going to write, No, there is a difference between confirming, and I love how you transition that, because it is true. If I truly believe that I'm never going to be a good enough leader, because for a long time, I really believed that. I thought, I'm not a good enough leader. I could never lead a team like this. I could blah, blah, blah. In my head, I had to transfer it out and say, but wait, why am I believing this? Do I really believe that I am never going to be a good leader? Do I really believe? So how can I trade that into a different thought process of like, okay, wait, I might not be a good enough leader right now, but that doesn't mean that I can't coach myself to get me there, or train myself to trade off these thoughts. What book can I start reading to start going into this? Or what can I do differently in my Bible that might help me transfer what God is telling me versus what my thought process is telling me? Those kind of things, I agree that we do need to get out of your head so it doesn't stay in it, but you don't need to confirm what's in your head. You need to transfer what's in your head to then transform it. Transfer to transform. There was something on Anthem Call the other day that a girl had said, and she said, disruption will always follow intention. And I thought that was pretty powerful, because we're always going to have disruptions. So whatever disruption, it's always going to be followed by intention. And I love how she had said that. Are we saying I can't, or I don't know how to yet? Yes, difference. Okay. Who else really quick? And then I'm going to close this out. I got some good stuff.
I kind of wanted to add on to your gratitude thing, Cassie, because I know like when some of my sideline sisters come and they're like, I'm just in a funk, I immediately tell them, and I don't know why I don't tell myself this, but I guess I need to start talking to myself more. I immediately tell them, go find 5 people and voice message them why you're grateful for them. Like, just go share love with 5 other people, because it gives you so much joy to make their day that you start to feel better and you kind of get into that positive mode. So that's another tip if you're feeling a funk.
Oh, I love it. And honestly, back in the day, we used to have Gratitude Fridays. And so we need to bring that back. And what we would do is 5 or 10 people, we would send gratitude to, whether that was a customer, a teammate, or just somebody we saw online, and just say, if nobody's told you, I see this in you and I'm grateful for you. That's it. Because again, when you're getting that feedback back, it does fill your cup. You took 5 seconds out of your day to show gratitude to somebody else, and that helps you get out of things. So I love that, Julia. That was really good.
I wanted to add one more thing that's been on my heart all day, and I feel like this is the reason why. But there's a saying, we kind of have it like as our family motto. There's times where we obviously need to revisit it, but we talk about it often. How you do anything is how you will do everything. And I think that goes with our thought processes too. If we're willing to do that to our thoughts, then what else are we willing to do? And so if you're not willing to do that, then in every aspect of our lives, we need to not do that at the same pace, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to transition before we close out. We have a few minutes. But I think that is, what are you willing to do to hit the things that you wanted to in this business? Now, we all know, yes, micro commitments are week by week, and then month by month, and then, year by year. Like, You have to show your goals where they're going, or there is no goals, or there is no intention. There'll be a disruption or an excuse in the way of those intentions and dreams that are set before you to provide for your family, or whatever this looks like from why you're here. Because yes, you're here for community, but there's got to be more. Like, if all of us were here for community and never have an ounce dollar to make out of this, then it's going to be a lot harder for us to keep showing up. And so if you knew tomorrow you had to make XYZ, how would you show up differently this week? If you knew by Friday you had to make $500, what would you do differently to do that? And a lot of that, like for me, I would be pouring into gratitude to other people. Action breeds action. So what action can you do differently if you knew you had to make $500 by Friday? And I want you to really question yourself on that one. What would you do differently to show up differently this week by Friday? Okay, then the next thing, there is a little something, something. So Julia 2.0, just FYI and everybody else, nobody knows, okay? This can't go outside of this Zoom, what I'm about to tell you. And I'm giving you a heads up because I can believe and trust you with the information that I'm giving you that you're going to show up differently this week. This is Magic Week. I want you to crush the goals that you set. I'm just here to help provide you and encourage you with what you want. And so what I'm going to be telling you that's coming tomorrow is only for 2 days. And the cool part about it is Plexus doesn't have to keep doing stuff for us, but yet they do. And so if we keep sitting on a spirit of laziness, and I'm calling out myself too, because other things keep piling up, and I'm like, but I never get back to the things that I really need to get done sometimes. If that's you too, you're not alone. So how do we change that tomorrow? Because these next few days are really going to set up whether you truly hit your goals at the end of the month or not, because you have free reset, you have $1 membership, and then tomorrow you have 15% off on a couple of products. So think about that. I want you to think about some of this. You're going to be able to double up. So think of a brand new person and they get free reset. Plus they're getting a pink drink or Mega X or X Factor, and they're getting 15% off on all of those products. How would you show up differently tomorrow by knowing that? And those are only for 2 days. So pink drink, X Factor, and Mega X are 15% off. That is for your current customers, and that is for new people, is from what my understanding. I'm going to double check before I misspeak you anymore. But how would you show up differently with the information I just gave you? What are you going to do? And I would love to hear. Like, we have 3 minutes, and I'm going to double check this stuff.
Follow up with fence sitters and get them off the fence. And the 15% off is a good one too, because you can't just get a triplex and get the free reset. It has to be 130 PV. So I've been adding active and other things to people's carts. So that lets me put in X Factor or something like that. That'll get them a vitamin and stuff that they can see a difference with as well.
I always level up with my customers, and I make it a point to where then they tell me whether they can or can't. Always. So valid on discretionary orders, not subscriptions, you guys. That's why it's only 2 days.
Why don't you guys follow up with any customers that aren't currently ordering too? That's probably going to be one of my game plans, is sending that out to all of my customers who don't have orders going through. I'll probably send it out to everybody so that everybody knows about it, but specifically those people who aren't currently ordering. You guys, here's the thing is, Plexus doesn't make them order 100 PV. Yeah, it benefits us, but if they buy one product, you still could get a couple points for that product. Plexus has been very generous and changed that to where in the past it used to be, it had to be at least like 50 PV in order to get points for it. And I don't even know that it actually has to be that anymore. I know I've had people get like a couple bottles of ProBio 5 and I get like 2 PV for it. So
here's Shara.
Oh, do it, Shara.
25 PV for VIP customers. If they are brand ambassadors, it has to be 50 PV or more. So if you have a brand ambassador under you, they've got to order 50 PV or more to get points. But if you just have VIPs under you, as long as they do 25 PV.
Okay.
I've gotten to where, and some of those people are so old that they were ambassadors back then. We didn't have VIP. I will go to them and have them downgrade. because I'm saving them money by downgrading. And then I'm also getting a point or two where I probably wouldn't be if they're only ordering Profile 5. So there's that too. Any other questions?
quick.
We have 2 minutes.
I'm going to chime in here real quick, and this is going to be on something separate. A lot of you have asked about the Bible study. I am going to actually kick that off next Thursday. It's going to be called, if you can see it, 21 Days of Prayer for Your Business. It's got some really fun things that I'll probably just give to you, like in the sense of like questions. I'll probably send those out to you week by week. But I'm really pumped to do that. I'm going to probably do it Thursday evenings. I don't know if that works for everybody, but sorry guys, it works for me. And if I'm leading it, I got to go off of what works for me so I can actually be there for you. So it's going to be Thursday evenings. Probably, I haven't decided specifically on a time, but I'll send that out before next week gets here. But that's what I'm going to start. So just want to put that out there.
Question, do you want to do that maybe after the cruise so people can order their books and stuff? Have you thought about that?
Oh, we could. I just know that people were asking about starting in February. So, I mean, totally could do that and give you guys time to order books.
Well, let's talk in our chat about it and we can go from there because the next call is starting. So we don't want to be late to that one. So that's for newbie coaching. So anybody brand new or ish, come because you're going to learn a lot from somebody else as well. I promise you. Julia 2.0, I can send you the link on that one too. But either way, yes, Shara.
Make sure you help Julia 2.0 know how to downgrade an ambassador.
Yep, I just saw that. I will. There is a form, and we'll get it for you, girl. Okay. Let's crush this week, guys. You know the information. Let's crush it. Bye.